more than 600,000 recorded phone conversations Americans made to businesses in the United States. Turns out, people from Ohio were the most likely to use curse words, the A word, the F word, and the S word. Washington State residents were the least likely to use bad words. But what makes a word bad? Well, be careful, because etymologically speaking, even the word bad can be considered a bad word. It began in Old English as a derogatory term for an effeminate man. 80% of swear words overheard in public in 1986, 1997, and 2006 were essentially the same. 1/3 of all counts included the top two, the F word and the S word. Slate's Brilliant Lexicon Valley podcast reported that these 10 words make up about 0.7% of the average English speaker's daily vocabulary, which means socially unacceptable words are used almost as often as socially descriptive words. First-person plural pronouns account for about 1% of the words we say every day. When a bad word is bleeped, it is covered with a 1 kilohertz sine wave, which sounds like this: son of a By the way, the symbols and squiggles that are used to represent a bad word have a name. They're called growlixes. They were named by Mort Walker in his seminal The Lexicon of Kamakana. He names a lot of things, but most of them show stuff. They don't hide stuff. Why the need to hide bad words, especially if we all pretty much know what's being said? Well, there is no one single reason bad words are bad. Steven Pinker, in his excellent lecture on the topic, delineates 5 types of swearing. First of all, some words are bad on purpose. They are created and or used with the intent to hurt others. He calls this abusive swearing, using words to insult, humiliate, objectify, or marginalize disfavored people. Now, if that disfavored person is God, we're talking about supernatural swearing, which was particularly taboo in Victorian times. It was believed that casually or vainly referring to God would physically injure God himself, literally. So, at the time, people were forced to come up with euphemisms like zounds and gadzooks, which originally meant God's wounds, and God's hooks, referring to the nails driven through the hands of Jesus. Historically, swear words often came from things we were afraid of, things we perceived as dangerous, stronger than us, and mercurial, such as death, disease and infirmity, sex and sexually transmitted diseases, as well as body fluids, germy, gross effluvia. Words for those gross things became gross and bad in and of themselves, uncouth to speak. But not all words for gross things are socially unacceptable, which brings us to Pinker's second type of swearing, emphatic swearing. Emphatic swearing is where the tabooness of bad words